welcome to another Wednesday Sew and Chat. As you can see, we have Ian here with us today. Really excited to have him on. This is the first time we've got to have anybody on a live with us, so I am so excited that you are here, Ian. If you would like to introduce yourself and tell us about yourself, your channel, whatever you'd like to say, let us all hear about you.
Absolutely. Thanks. I didn't know that I was the first guest ever on here, so thank you. I'm honored to be the first guest ever. Hey, everybody. It's Ian, the Off Kilter Crafter. You know me from my YouTube channel.
So I am so excited.
Oh, I hear things. I'm so excited to be here, and y'all know me. I mean, I see so many people in the chat that I know already, but if you haven't already, check me out over on my YouTube channel and have some fun with my crazy kookiness and calamity.
So what are you going to be working on today? I see you're in front of your sewing machine, so I assume you are.
Yeah, so I am actually going to be using this amazing ruler that is sold in the So Be It Quilts store. It is the postcard.
But not always great things.
So I'm going to be using my postcard ruler today. I dug into my scrap bin and I pulled out a whole bunch of blue scraps. So I feel like playing around with some of my scraps. Scraps are the best thing to use for making postcards. So I'm going to be working on a postcard, at least working on the postcard top today. I'm not going to get it finished out, but I'm going to be working on that.
Sorry, she's grabbing.
I'm not organized today. Or am I ever? I don't know. I have one of those handy dandy tools too.
So what do you know? It's like your store makes them or something.
But I figured you were going to be going the scrappy route. We did not coordinate very well on what we were working on, but I grabbed, I think you know her, So Becca's pattern. On her Etsy page, she has a lot of really cool FPP postcards. So I grabbed her Stars and Stripes one. It doesn't look great here because I don't have a printer that prints color. But there's a link to it in the description if anybody wants to try FPP and FPP postcard. She has a bunch of really fun patterns on there.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I actually tested that one for her.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was hanging out with her when she was working on that one. In fact, hold on. I may actually have that one still because I had the first iteration of it, and she was, still fairly new to designing FPP, and she wanted like those stripes on there, and so she had me work on the original, which has 1,000,005 stripes on it.
Well, I'm glad they're less now because I can imagine that gets really detailed.
Yeah, it was a lot. As you can see, there are a lot of stripes on here, and as soon as I finished it, she was like, "You know what? I think I should cut down some of those stripes." I'm like, "Really? After I put it all together?" Yeah. But no, it was fun, and I totally agree with her. Like the thicker stripes work a lot better for putting it together because this one took me way long. It's doable, but it took me a long time to do it. But yeah, I actually store my my postcards, my finished postcards. This is actually a bag from the Quilty Architect over on Instagram. He made a whole bunch of bags, and they're perfect for storing my completed postcards in. So I love to just put them in here, and then whenever I need them for a birthday or a fun thank you or something like that, I'll just reach into there and grab one out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have fabric chosen here for this. I was going to go through my scraps, but I just didn't have time, so I grabbed stuff off my shelf really quick. But I will say I've never made a quilted postcard before, but Becca's pattern is really detailed on what I need. And I know you have a lot of videos and tutorials showing how to make postcards as well. So I'm really excited to finally make one. I told you when you had given us your design for your postcard ruler that I need to sit down with you and learn how to make one. And so here we are.
Yep, absolutely. I saw somebody ask in the chat too. They asked where I'm located. I'm actually just up the road from So Be It Quilts, at least currently. I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth, so not too far from them.
Yeah, we're in the Houston area, so neighbors, and oddly enough, we have never met in person.
No.
So I don't know when we're going to be able to do that if you're heading out of here.
I've got a little bit of time. It's into September, so we've got a little bit of time. But yeah, it's kind of funny because Threaded Lines is one of my favorite stores, and I've actually only met them up here. They're outside of Houston, but I have only met them up here when they were at the Dallas Quilt Show, at the Plano Quilt Show. It's kind of funny. So I don't know. It's funny that we're like neighbors, but we've never had the chance to meet yet.
It's like one of those things that, but you already feel like you know someone anyway.
Right. Very much.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I guess what I don't know, Ian, and I should, because I feel like this is one of the first things I'd want to do with you. What do you like? What's your drink of choice? Like, if we were to go to a bar, what are you drinking?
Oh, I was gonna go with Dr. Pepper, and then you said alcohol, and I was like, oh, okay, we're going in that direction. I enjoy. So I was actually just talking about this the other day. As I'm preparing to move, I'm downsizing and figuring out what I can leave behind, and I had several bottles of different kinds of alcohol. I had like vodka and rum and all that kind of stuff, and it all started because I went and got a physical recently, and they're like, how many drinks have you had in the last 6 months? And I was like, I don't remember the last drink I've had. Like, it's been so long. I don't remember the last time. But if I am going to indulge in adult beverage, it would probably be a margarita if we're out at a bar kind of fun situation.
I like margaritas.
Yeah, my wife is a big fan of margaritas.
They don't agree with me though.
So, couple updates real quick because I don't want to hijack everything. Ian has been gracious enough we talked about this. Ian went back and forth. I don't know how much thought you put into it, Ian, but it did. I gave you a bunch of options for your envelope or your postcard. I call it an envelope because I don't know. That's just the way my mind works. But Ian went with the fluorescent blue, which I think is a great color. It looks really good. It doesn't distort colors such that when you're using it, you know what colors you have.
Yep.
And it's a really cool color. And so,
and it might be my favorite color.
Yeah, well, that's always true too. So we have decided to do a very limited run of Slidelocks in the blue color. So here's the 14-inch. I know it's hard to see the color. There's pictures on the website. So there's 24-inch, 14-inch, and the bundle that's available on our website. Very limited quantities. If you purchase Ian's postcard ruler, and you also, in the same transaction, purchase one of the Slidelocks, you will automatically get a 10% discount on the Slidelocks. You don't have to do anything. There's no code. If you put Ian's postcard into your cart and you put a blue Slidelock into your cart, it will give you 10% off. So that's available until the quantities are sold out, and we likely won't do it again because I've got to use the blue acrylic to make the postcards. And so, but that's for anyone that thinks that this blue is a really cool color and would like a Slidelock. There are very limited quantities on the website, and there's a discount if you purchase either the bundle, the 24-inch, or the 14-inch with Ian's postcard. So that is something new. And then lastly, I know I told everyone that I was going to order pink acrylic to do also another limited run of Slidelocks and Trimlocks. I'm not the smartest man, apparently. And I did order the pink acrylic, but I ordered the wrong size. I ordered the 1/8-inch acrylic, which I'm not going to use to make Slidelocks or Trimlocks. But happy story, I found that because the pink acrylic, which is still very cool, and I'll show you, it doesn't transmit light as well as the green acrylic that we use. So I was actually able to make a bunch of the quilt labels using the pink. So there are a bunch of these that have been made. They're available on the website. So anybody that has wanted the acrylic quilt labels, they are now available in pink. The only difference is some people had commented that they were a little bit small for them because they have arthritis. So these are slightly larger. They're an inch, 1 inch square instead of 3/4 of an inch. And although it only sounds like a 1/4 inch difference, it actually does make a big difference. So these are a lot easier to use. So those are also available. So that's all I have on that. And then I will stop selling stuff.
I just had to rip that out because I laid it down the wrong way. So that's, if you saw me ripping, that's why, because I didn't cover the area properly.
Hate it when that happens.
I know. It's like, if I really need to practice FPP more because it plays with my mind. Like,
It does.
I think I have it laying the right way, and then I'm like, that absolutely covered nothing I was intending to.
Yep. Linda
but
says
it's like one of those things you have to practice.
It is. You have to practice it. And like when I start an FPP project, I'm always like, I have to like because it's retraining your brain. You know, we're not used to doing it backwards, you know, building the block from the back basically. And so it's hard to kind of think about it and get it wrapped around your mind. And like, once you get into it, it's not so hard, especially if you're doing a legit kit. It really helps with that, and you get into a rhythm. But trying to switch between like a legit kits and a regular sewing, I have to like, it takes a moment for the gears to kick in and everything like that.
And just in case anyone wanted to know, this is the number 9, but this is what it looks like for the acrylic quilt fabric labels in pink. There we go. So they look really nice. They're just pink instead of green. Hey, Chris. Chris just joined the chat.
Chris.
So the distance.
The nice thing is that it turns out perfect when you do FPP, though. Like, absolutely perfect. You just have to. And it's only when there's like angles. That's when I struggle to get it like right.
Yeah, definitely. With legit kits, I was always, and thankfully they give you plenty of fabric. Like, you're not going to run out of fabric, and if you do, you can contact them. But like, there's plenty of fabric. So if I end up going the wrong direction, that was my problem when I first started FPP. Was like, I kept wanting to go the wrong direction with how to, and I had to take several classes. I took one from QuiltCon Together that really helped me understand like how to do it and look at it. So it was very helpful to take that. Thankfully we were at home, so all the mistakes I made, nobody ever saw.
Well,
and
I heard from Becca's pattern that you have some good tutorials on FPP now, though, because she has a link to them in here.
Yep. She and I both did tutorials on how to do FPP. I have the basic FPP, how to do it, and then she takes it a step further and shows you how to do the freezer paper FPP, which I haven't quite mastered that one yet. And by the way, for postcards, like, as you can see, I'm literally just sewing stuff together, and it comes out very nicely. It's so much fun.
So what started your love, if that's the right word, Ian, of postcards?
Great question. I'm off camera, but I'm still going to answer the question because I've got to trim this up. But I actually took a class at QuiltCon from Sarah Ruiz. She's on Instagram, and she's really amazing. She's had several quilts in QuiltCon. And she taught a class at QuiltCon in 2022, and it was how to make postcards. Just very easy, very basic, but it really opened up my eyes to how much fun they are. And she even sells a couple of patterns that are postcard template sized. So she has several patterns that you can purchase off of her website that have some pretty intricate designs. Maybe not FPP, they're straight piecing, but they're still a lot of fun to work with. And sitting in her class was a lot of fun, just sitting there and learning how to do it and going through the steps. So it kind of ignited a passion in me. And if you go back on my Instagram, you can actually see the very first postcards that I ever made while I was at QuiltCon. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And it's great. Like I said, it's great for using up those scraps. They go so quickly.
That is really cool.
And I think it's probably just fun too, like sending people something fun in the mail that isn't a bill anymore.
Right.
I know. I mean, I remember back in the day, I think I'm a little bit older than you, Ian, but we're in the same general age range.
Yeah.
Like when you would get something in the mail, like it was really cool. I was like, oh my goodness, I got something fun in the mail. And now all I get are magazines, advertisements, extended warranties. Right. You never get anything fun in the mail because people just email or text. So getting something tangible in the mail that is for you is really cool.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah, that's why I like to send postcards. And it's funny because I started my YouTube channel making greeting cards. That's how the whole channel came about, was started off by making handmade greeting cards. And I think it's funny that I kind of continued that through this iteration of my YouTube channel by making quilted postcards. And it's a lot of fun. I'm also hoping a little bit that the post person who's delivering the mail, like, I hope it brightens their day as well, because I'm sending them through the mail. I don't put them in packaging. I don't put them in envelopes. I don't do anything to them. I literally stick the stamp on the back and drop them in the mailbox and out they go. So people are getting to see them, hopefully, as they're going through the mail system. And I hope it brings a little joy of like, oh, that's different. Like, it's not an envelope. It's not a bill. It's not anything else.
I'm going to answer a few questions. So several people have asked what you're working on, wife, and she's working on Becca's postcard pattern. And there's a link in the description.
Yeah, there's a link in the description. It's on Becca's Etsy page. So if you can't find the link in the description, if you just like do a Google search of Sew Becca on Etsy, it will come up for you. I tested it earlier. And she has a lot of really great postcard patterns on there, among a lot of other really awesome items too.
And then let's see. Danelle wants to know, does the Slidelock need to be the... Okay, so if you buy Ian's postcard and you want a discount on the Slidelock, it has to be the blue one because it's a limited edition sort of run. At least that's how I think it works. To be fair, I don't exactly know how the back end couponing works. So it may work on a regular Slidelock, I'm not sure, but I think it has to be the blue one.
So this pattern is actually coming along really cute. When it gets trimmed up is really when you see it come together, but the colors are working really nice.
Yeah, that looks great.
Zaza.
Hi, Zaza.
So she says her parcel ended at the end of last week. I swear I feel like I sent that 2 weeks ago. That she's in Scotland, but so I'm glad it received. Hopefully everything got there safely.
She did. I saw her in another chat and she said the box was really banged up, but everything was fine.
Okay, good.
Like
that's why we wrap everything.
Yeah, I bubble wrap everything.
But I made her a custom item, so I'm very curious to see how that works out.
I cannot get into the video because I'm trying to be able to see chat over here on my end, but I cannot get in.
Oh, that's weird. Like
my phone is not working.
Twyla says, thank you for making her custom. Oh yeah, so good. I'm glad those worked out, Twyla. Those were like the biggest templates I've ever made. And so I'm glad they worked. And I hope that they bring you joy. I've never made templates for bags, so that was a fun one for me.
Oops, someone's at your door.
Yeah. Kelly wants to know which size ruler is best for FPP. I think it's a personal choice, Kelly. I think we sell 2 sizes of FPP rulers on our site, but I've had a lot of requests to make different sizes for people, so I've probably made 4 or 5 different sizes. And I think it's what you prefer. Some people want a 4-inch ruler, some want 8 inches, some want 1 inch wide, some want 3 inches wide.
I don't
So
I don't FPP a lot, but I feel like this smaller size. Which one is this? What size? Is
that's the
it?
6 inch by 2 inch.
I think it's easier for me to like maneuver around on this.
Sorry, I just need to turn my phone off. Who is?
Or answer the door.
Are going in and out.
My daughter has her best friend. I don't like. They literally like just live at each other's houses because she lives like right down the block. I don't know why they sleep over all the time because they literally see each other every day. But
she's how old is she?
6. They're both 6. Yeah, they're both 16.
16.
Yeah, because
They're
less than a month
teenagers, of
apart.
course. I mean, that's why. And I need to size doesn't matter. They all work. Anyways.
Yeah. I knew that was gonna have to come out eventually.
That's hilarious.
The
Typical
hard
guy
part is
answer.
I can't interrupt y'all when y'all are talking. I can normally type it in the chat and say it whenever.
That's why I had to get you on here, Ian, so that you and him couldn't be like I can just talk over it now.
So Ian, one question I have for you, because I don't find myself to be a particularly I'm very creative, but I'm not artistic. I think that's probably the best way to describe me.
Sure.
So when you say that you started making you didn't start in quilting, right? You started in making greeting cards, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I actually started off with using the Cricut. That was kind of the group that I got in with on YouTube, where we were all Cricketing people. We used the Cricut to make all sorts of different projects, to be honest. It wasn't just greeting cards, but it was a little bit of everything, especially when Cricut was coming out with the Cricut Air and the Cricut Maker and all that kind of stuff. There was a big Cricut time. And I got in with a group of wonderful creative crafters, and they all urged me to start my own channel, and we would all kind of support each other and lean on each other and whatnot. And so I did that, and it was a lot of fun. And then I just kind of fell into this rhythm of creating cards. Like greeting cards was kind of where I felt the most comfortable. It was the most, it was the easiest for me to create, and the most like, I didn't have to spend hours and hours and hours. I could sit down at my desk. I could work for about an hour on a card, and I would be able to be done. And then it would take me another hour to edit the video, and I could have a video out every week. Obviously with quilting, that doesn't always work. So I'm a little slower on the videos nowadays, and that's why I do the live streams. But started off with those greeting cards because, like I said, they took an hour. It was super easy. Got it done in an hour. Edited the video in an hour. Boom, had a video up, ready to go.
So that segues into my next question, which is, so you went from greeting cards to quilting. What other sort of creative passions or endeavors do you pursue? Because I know, like, I started out in wood when I was very young, and that's been a constant since I was 7 or 8 years old. But there's a lot of other things that mediums that I like to work with, and other things that I like to create. So what else for you is, it fills those voids, if you will?
Yeah. I used to be really into video games, not so much anymore. Most of the time, I'm literally sitting in front of my sewing machine, in front of my TV, watching YouTube movies, TV. I spend my time doing a lot of sewing, to be honest, but I like to make postcards, obviously. I like to make quilts, obviously. And then I also like bags. I like to make bags a lot. I'm not super fast in making bags, but I enjoy making them and just kind of getting really creative with the fabrics and stuff like that. So it's that. What else do I do? There's not enough hours in the day, and I work a daytime job, so it's hard to find time to do the other
Isn't that
things.
so hard when someone asks you, what else do you do besides quilting? You're like, work.
Work. I have a daytime job. I work that, and then when and thankfully I work from home, so my desk is, you know, on the other side of the room over there, and I'm literally like, okay, clock out, roll over here, start the sewing machine. So it's pretty much, that's my life.
Very cool. Yeah, I wish there were more hours in the day because I have a lot of passions that I would like to explore that I just don't have time for.
Agreed.
And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you have to pick and choose at some point. I remember, not to be too nostalgic, but like I remember when I was a kid, and I'm sure you were the same way, Ian. It's like it always felt like there was never enough to do.
Yep.
Right? Like you'd go and play baseball with your friends, you'd come home, read a book, you'd watch some TV, you'd play video games, and it was like 2 p.m. And it's like, okay, what do I do for the rest of the day? Like that is not the case anymore.
Yeah, totally. Baseball, absolutely, 100%. No, I grew up in a neighborhood that didn't have, well, actually, it didn't really have any kids at all. I was pretty much the only kid in the neighborhood, so most of my time was really spent. And my sister is 8 years younger than I am, so I spent a lot of time on my own. I would, you know, go hang out in the backyard or stuff like that, but I didn't really have friends outside of school. I was pretty much at home, and if I was at home, I was either watching TV or playing in the backyard, or I don't know, just like I do remember telling my mom, oh God, I always remember like telling my mom, I'm bored, and she would find chores. And I learned very quickly not to do that anymore.
Yeah, you don't say that.
Nope. I'm bored. Well, why don't you go clean your room? Okay, I'm not bored anymore.
Yeah. Sherry, sorry if I missed your question the first time. Are the pink alphabets for $11.99 the 1 inch? Yes, they are. And it should say in the description on the website that they're 1 inch. And if it doesn't, please let me know, because I thought I put that in there. But yes, those are the ones. And sorry that I missed your question the first time.
I like Donnell's. There's something other than sewing?
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy, right?
That's how I feel all the time. I'm like,
Yep.
what?
You can do something besides sewing? What is this?
So do you still make greeting cards? Is that something that you still have time to do?
I don't. I kind of lost, you know, who is it? The Marie Kondo, if it doesn't spark joy, leave it behind, or whatever she says. I am actually downsizing all of my paper crafting stuff. I'm keeping a few things that I absolutely love, like that are my absolute. I have a stamp set or two that I'm keeping. I have a couple of stamping tools that I'm keeping, but all the rest of it, I'm selling it or giving it to other people, or, you know, moving it someplace other than my vicinity. So kind of, and what really started that was I moved in with a friend of mine. I left mom's house a couple of years ago, moved in with a roommate, and I didn't have enough room in my room to keep all of my crafting supplies, and so a lot of my stuff was out in the main living space, and I never wanted to disturb my roommate. I wanted to make her feel comfortable, and like I didn't want her to have to tiptoe around the apartment while I'm recording. So I you know, and so a few things were in my room, some things were out in the living room, and it really interrupts your flow when you have to, like, oh, I forgot that, I've got to get up and go get that and come back. And it just kind of took the fun and joy out of it, I guess. And I was kind of starting to lose my interest in it. And then quilting just really took over, I guess.
I think that makes perfect sense. I really need to downsize all my craft stuff too, because I used to knit a lot. I just don't really have time for it. And I have so much yarn, and I'm like, I'm never going to use it again. But then I always think, but what if?
But yeah, that's the danger. That's the danger, because there have been a couple of things that I've gotten rid of already. And I was like, oh, why did I get rid of that? Because now I need it. Now I need
Yeah.
to have that thing, but I don't have it anymore. So
Yeah.
no, 100%. I totally get that. And it's so frustrating to be like, I just had that and I gave it away, and then you have to buy it again.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, you'd rather spend that money on fabric, right? You don't want to you don't want to have to buy something that you literally just got rid of for no reason other than you thought you would never use it.
Yeah.
That's exactly when you need it.
So Chris was asking, and I don't know if this was directed to you, Ian, since you were talking about Cricut, but she wants to know if you ever use your Cricut for quilting.
I do. I do use my Cricut for quilting sometimes. In fact, one of the first the quilt that got me started in quilting, my aunt, sorry, I just realized I'm like, hello everyone, I'm over here. The very first quilt that I got, that I worked on with my aunt, we cut out, it was a Disney themed quilt. So there were lots of Disney prints from Joann's. And then we cut out of solid fabric, we cut out Mickey head silhouettes using the Cricut. Oh. And this was before the Maker came out. It was still using the Cricut Air. So if anybody's a Cricketeer, they know that you had to bond all the fabric. You had to use some kind of bonding material. So like your Pellon, you have to use Pellon on the back, basically. Interfacing, that's the word. And so we cut, oh gosh, I don't remember how many, like a lot. There's a lot of those Mickey silhouette heads in the quilt. And so I used Cricut for that. I have a video on my channel on how to make quilt labels using the sublimation pens that Cricut sells. I used to make my labels out of that before I bought custom ones that were custom printed and all that kind of stuff. That sounds real bougie. Never mind, guys. Just ignore that. My custom made labels. But
you used the word bougie though.
I know.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh, I forgot. You don't like that word. I'm very fancy. Anyways,
but you're not. That's not what the word means. Bourgeois was not fancy. It was the middle class. It was like. So anyway, you know the story.
Yes, I do. Yep. I remember the last time I used that. You got real upset. I'm like, "Oh, don't use that one again." And here I am using it. Anyways, but yeah. So, but there are several different things, and if you need to cut 100 million half square triangles, doing it on the Cricut is so much easier. In fact, I'm working on the Gravity Quilt kit, and I saw somebody else. They have Threaded Lines has their own sew along group for this year's Gravity Quilt, and somebody put in the group that they cut their octagon shapes using the Cricut, and I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? So
they should have emailed me for a custom octagon.
Well, still you have to cut it.
Yeah, well, that's true. I can't do that for you. I mean, I could, but I won't.
I have cut fabric on a laser before, and that's fun.
I've not used fabric on my laser. One, because I'm afraid that I don't know that I could get the power setting low enough not to set it on fire. But it would be interesting because you could do some really cool stuff with it.
Yeah. Yep. When I worked at the Science Museum over in Dallas, we actually had two lasers. We had one on the mobile truck that we took out, and then one at the museum. And my boss was super awesome, and we would try all kinds of things.
What do you remember? What power? What strength they were?
Oh gosh.
Or I mean, if you know the model, I'll know the power.
It was the full spectrum laser, I believe.
Okay. Well, they make everything from 40 watt up to I think 120 or something.
Yeah, it was there were definitely a couple of times that we may or may not have caught things on fire. Thankfully, we were paying attention. It's fine. Everything's fine. No problem.
Well, don't they usually shut off like when they start doing
So
something like
mine
that?
has an automatic shut off so that if it senses fire, it'll put it out.
But I guess whatever you're burning.
Yeah,
puts
not
the laser
all of
on.
them have that at all. Take it from my experience. They don't all have that. I may have. We won't talk about that. It's fine.
Well, you're still here, so
I'm still here. The building is still here. Everything's still here. So it's fine. It's totally fine.
Oh, Amy's here. Hi, Amy. Hope
Hi,
you're doing
Amy.
well.
Hey, Amy.
Amy and Ian got to meet each other. It's
We
kind of
did.
So we've met Amy. You've met Amy, but we're the missing link apparently.
Right? Exactly.
Did you get to meet Casey as well? Her husband?
I'm sorry?
Amy's husband, Casey.
Yes, I did. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry.
That's okay, John.
I thought that's who though. I thought that's who you're referring to, but again, I like slept since then. So, but yes, I did meet him. He was great. He was a wonderful camera person, and caught my. I didn't expect him to put that blooper into it, but hey, it worked.
So,
Are you doing the next puzzle mystery quilt from Cotton Cuts?
I am going to be doing it.
Have you picked out your colorway, or are you doing another surprise one?
I am actually going to be doing Calamity. So I'm going to be doing a large Calamity for Wild West.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I really want to do another one again, but I have to get cut off on all my other millions of
Get that.
projects. The one thing that was nice about that, though, is like you kind of feel like you need to keep up with it. So it helps keep you motivated to stay on task.
Yep. It's funny because, as a content creator, I'm doing the videos. I'm creating the tutorial videos for it. And it was really funny because Becca, she had one that was she bought with her own money and was doing it on her own, basically. And she was like, hey, help me put this clue together. And I was like, okay, sure. And I didn't realize how fast they go together when you don't have to record the content for it. It's like, oh my gosh, I understand why people love these. They go so fast. I love it. That makes it sound like I don't love it. I love it. It takes a lot longer. It takes 2 to 3 times as long for me. So.
People want to know, babe, if you've decided on a name for the quilt behind us.
No.
She has not.
I have not. There's so many good ideas, and then it made it harder to decide. Everyone gave such good ideas for it, so now I'm like, definitely don't know what to name it now.
Well,
it's gonna be whatever you want to name it, Quilt.
We could be like some of those bands that just don't even name their albums. It's just like, you'd be like, Metallica, the Black Album, or.
I don't think I'm that cool. It would have to be like, once you make it in your color version, you get to name it what you want.
Donnell wants to know what ambassador is doing Dusty Rose.
I have not received a list of who's doing what, so I don't know off the top of my head which ambassador is going to be working on the Dusty Rose. If there's an ambassador, not all the ambassadors work on all the colorways, so I'm not sure. I know that Beth from Goody Goods is going to be working on the yellow one. I don't remember the name of the Gold Rush. She's working on Gold Rush. But I'm not sure who else is doing what.
They get someone to do almost all their colorways, and I think that's so cool that you can see the one you're working on come together with someone else.
Yeah.
Mike, I didn't see you earlier, Mike, so welcome. Mike says we should just call it What's the Point? I like that. Although there's just so many good names like Sonar and Doppler and fun things like that. So Ian, you mentioned that, and I guess this is new to me. You said something about there being YouTube movies. Is that a thing?
Oh, I just watch YouTube. I have
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just watching whatever content. I have several content creators that I follow on the regular that are not quilty related.
What?
I know, crazy. So yeah, there's a few,
too, but it's like true crime stuff. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit of travel. It's a little bit of well, it's a lot of Disney. There's a lot of Disney in there. And what else? There's a couple of flight attendants that I follow, and just a little bit of everything, to be honest.
So do you watch, I know it is the kind of quilting craft world, but do you watch Okla Roots?
I don't.
On YouTube? So she does a lot of Disney projects.
Oh.
As if you need another thing to keep up with. Right. But that's immediately what I thought of when you were saying Disney.
Yeah, I typically watch people like Tim Tracker and couple other content creators. Not to name drop, that just was the one that came to mind.
So that's an interesting question. For everyone in the chat, are there content creators that you watch that are not quilting related that you really enjoy? I watch a lot of golf stuff because I like golfing, and as a tinkerer, I build my own clubs, and so I'm always interested in what other people are doing. You know, there's not a whole lot of ways you can change the way in which you build a club, right? You can choose your own specs, but you know, if you need to add weight or take weight away from a club, there's only one or two ways to do it. But I'm less interested in how people build them and more in what their result is, right? It's a little bit technical, but like, do they use a 44-inch driver? Do they use a 47-inch driver, and why? And I find it very therapeutic to watch people hit balls into a screen.
Oh, no.
All right.
And just see how the clubs perform, because I don't know why. I just do. That's for me. There's a lot of golf stuff. So you'd probably like those, Ian. Men playing with big sticks and hitting balls.
No.
I gotta ask, like, what? I've never found the appeal of golf, and there's so many people who are like, "Oh my gosh, it's so like." I sit there. Sometimes it'll come on the TV, and I'm like, "Oh." It's just.
I can't watch it either. But have you ever played? Because I think playing is actually fun. I'm not good at it at all, but I can't watch it either.
I mean, does mini golf count? Because like that's as golfy as I've ever gotten, I believe.
I think golf is one of those things where you have to have done it to appreciate it.
Okay, that's fair.
Like watching professional golf, I couldn't do it before I started golfing, and then when I realized how hard golf actually is, and you see these guys hitting the ball perfectly over and over and over again, there's an appreciation. It's like if I look at really good art, like painting, I can't paint for shit. I just appreciate it because I understand how difficult it is, and so for me, I think that's what it is. I get that it can be boring, but for me, it's about the skill.
But he can watch any sport on TV. Like, it doesn't matter if there is. What were you watching the other day that I was like, this is actually televised? I don't remember.
I don't know.
But he is all about any sport.
It's true.
The only sport that I really get into is when the Olympics are on. Love watching the Olympics. And my favorite events for summer, since we're coming up on the Summer Olympics, I love watching volleyball, both indoor and beach volleyball. Love watch. I will get so into indoor volleyball with all of them, like all the misses and like craziness that I'm just like, oh, yeah, oh, like it's real bad. It's real bad. I love it though.
Yeah, I played volleyball as a kid, and like indoor volleyball, you can see people literally like in the stands hitting balls back, and it's like, how did you even get there before the ball hit? I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
And I feel like it's weird. Maybe not weird, but like the women are much more aggressive about how they go after the balls. Like you'll see women just like dive. I'm like, you're indoor on hardwood. Like I'm not diving. Like I'm not gonna risk my body for this, but they go all out.
They do. They do. They go, and the men too. Like the men are just as, I mean, it's crazy. I enjoy it though. It is so much fun to watch, and I really enjoy when it comes around each year or each time the Olympics happen. It's definitely an event I set up to record each time.
Paula wants to know where the pattern for the quilt hanging behind us came. This is actually a pattern, Paula, that my wife designed. It has no name. You did a tutorial for it though, right? There's a tutorial on your channel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a tutorial for it. Let's see. A lot of people look to be watching homesteading stuff on YouTube.
Home what?
Homesteading.
Oh, yeah.
Some cooking stuff. Prepping, homesteading, gardening. The Y files. I don't know what that is, but that's Debbie from Quilt Effect. The Y files. Homesteading. A lot of homesteading. Organizational videos, says Chris. A lot of law. So I don't really like to watch law stuff because it's what I do for a living. Although I swear, I just need to start a legal channel because I hear some of these commentators. I'm like, you don't know what the hell you're talking. Like these people purport to be attorneys, but their advice is so bad. And my wife got me into a trial that I've been watching because she got me into it. And I'm like, I just need to see what's going on. And it's the most ridiculous trial I've ever seen.
Yeah, you're not happy with me about it.
But I feel like I should be a law commentator because I will tell my wife exactly what I would do on cross-exam, and then I'll watch it the next day and they do exactly what I said. I feel like they bugged our house.
My mind is like playing with me here on sewing these together. It happens to me every time.
Oh, it looks so pretty. Becca did a good job.
Yeah, it is a really pretty design. I just don't want to mess it up. So like my mind is like, I feel like I have it right finally, but I know it's backward and it's messing with me.
Michelle says scrapbooking and paper crafting is how she found you, Ian, years ago.
Yep. It was funny because I got a text message. No, excuse me. I apologize. I didn't get a text message on my Instagram post for my birthday. Tim Holtz actually wished me a happy birthday, which was super awesome. I love that.
Really
it was, I feel very honored. And another one of my friends who I met through my YouTube channel and when I was doing paper crafting, she was just like, oh, look at you, whoop-de-doo, Mr. Tim Holtz over here wishing you a happy birthday, big shot. Oh my gosh. She was of course poking fun, but it made me laugh, and it was like I don't know what to say.
I don't know what I would do if someone like that commented. I don't know. I would feel starstruck.
It's true. I like it every when he comments on my posts and stuff, I'm just like, what? The imposter syndrome kicks in real bad.
A lot of people who say they like golf. Someone who watches horse racing videos, dance videos. Dr. Smith, Kathy Smith, she's a huge fan of the Olympics as well. So speaking of the Olympics, I don't know if you've heard about this, Ian, but I can't remember what they're called, but there is a group who is claiming that they are going to, concurrent with the Olympics, run their own Olympics. But they are doing it without any drug testing whatsoever.
Yes, I did hear about that.
And I've seen some of the stuff that they have said. Like, they apparently claim to have a guy who can run the 100 meters in like 9.2 seconds.
Yep.
Which would absolutely destroy the current world record. I'm interested. I don't know that it's going to happen because they still haven't like found a partner, to televise it.
Yeah.
But if it's on TV, like, I am all about seeing people do things that humans shouldn't be doing. Like, I want to see someone high jump 15 feet, right? Like, I don't think that's possible, but if someone could, I'd totally watch it.
Yeah, I actually heard about that. I listened to Wait, Don't Tell Me Saturday mornings, and they were talking about that, and the comedians were just having a field day with that news story.
Yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see if...
I think people will still watch both anyway.
I'm sure that to the extent that it exists, the only people that will even know about it are those that are like, hear about it from a random source or are diehard, into sports. So they'll watch it, but I'm going to watch the regular Olympics too, although I, would love to see people do things that they're not supposed to. Not from a legal perspective, but just from a human performance perspective.
Totally. Well, I mean, we do have Snoop Dogg is going to be a commentator for the NBC Olympics. So,
who is
Snoop Dogg?
That'll be interesting. I like listening to him talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
there is my postcard. I just got to trim it up.
Oh, that is really
pretty. It's so good.
This is such a fun pattern. This would be fun to honestly make over. I mean, I'm going to make this one into a postcard, but it would be fun to make over and over into a quilt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Take you a long time, but yeah.
Yeah. especially, but I think I'd probably get faster with it.
One postcard,
that
that's actually an interesting idea. What if you got a whole bunch of people together and you're like, hey, I want you to make a postcard sized quilt top, like not do the quilting or anything, but just make the quilt top and then send it to me. And then you could put them all together.
Yeah, that would actually be really fun.
That'd be a cool idea.
We should make note of that.
Yeah.
So I like that idea. Just get everyone in the chat to do it, and then we can put like 5 or 6 quilts together and show them.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like this.
So really fun. I don't know if Becca's in the chat, but really fun pattern. Becca, if you want to make one of these, grab her pattern. It was a lot of fun.
It's perfect for 4th of July coming up.
Absolutely.
I'm going to trim this up with and you're not going to be able to see it because
what they say.
Not in the camera. Maybe if I move this, I can get it. Use Ian's ruler and trim it up.
And Flag Day is Friday, in case anyone was wondering.
Don't look under what I just moved because it is really dusty apparently.
Mona just said that Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson will both be Olympic correspondents.
What?
And they're not doing the enhanced games, I think is what they're calling, where there's no drug testing. They're doing it for like the real Olympics.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they don't have to be drug tested.
They can't have lost viewership, right? So I don't know why.
I don't know. I mean, the last time I saw Willie Nelson do an interview, I didn't think he'd still be alive. He looks so frail. But Snoop Dogg is on point.
I still will never understand the friendship between Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart.
And Martha Stewart?
Love it.
Oh. It just goes to show you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely. And it's even funnier when they put the two of them in the same room and go, one of them is a convicted felon. Guess which one? Cracks me up every time.
Probably a lot of people's biases right there too.
Yeah, don't even get me started on the Martha. Like insider trading should not be a crime. I mean, it should in the sense, but like it's only prosecuted against, you know, the people. There are many people who do it that never get caught. And it's like, well, it's because we don't investigate it, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I will.
I need to pull the papers from behind. It's all trimmed up now.
Yeah.
Very nice. What's interesting is, so Becca found out that you don't, if you're making a postcard that you're going to be sandwiching together. By the way, people are going to ask, I know they are. I use Peltex 72F on the inside of my postcards. For the rigidity, it keeps it very rigid. And I use that, and then of course the batting on the backside after I quilt. Or
that's what you use to stay rigid?
It helps it stay very rigid. The floppiness does not happen. In fact, I worry that the mail people think it might be too rigid. I don't know, but it seems to work okay. It gets to its destination. I've even mailed these across the ocean to a couple of different places overseas, and they have said that it shows up in perfect condition. So,
well, that's cool. So, it's how do you spell Peltex? I'm going to put it in the chat.
PEL.
Or do you have a link for it?
There's is it Pel? Oh, I think Becky uses something else. She has in here Pelon 72F, or is it the same?
Same.
I think so. I think that's the same. But it's the one that I have. I actually went back to my postcard video because I was like, I don't remember the name of that. But yeah,
I know there's a lot of different brands that essentially make the same thing.
That too.
Is it the double-sided so you can get it to stick to the cardstock?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And the cardstock that I use is somewhere between 65 and 85 pound, which it's weird that paper is measured in pounds, but there you go.
Yeah, there's a whole story about that. I actually had to look it up for a legal issue. I'm not even joking. There was a legal issue surrounding it. So I had to learn all about the way that paper is weighted. And there's different grades and different weights and different measurements, and it's all sort of silly. Oh, that's really pretty, Ian.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that you fussy cut there in the.
Yeah.
And
so you did it all quilt as you go, right?
No, actually, I don't have any batting on the back yet. I'm actually going to go in and quilt it right now. So I have a piece of batting, and I literally just place my postcard on top of the batting. And actually, I need a little bit of a bigger batting now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go grab some too. I was going to do that before, and then it slipped my mind.
Yep. Actually, this one's going to be okay. I always, every time I make a postcard, I always make it bigger than the actual postcard 5x7. So that way I have some wiggle room. And of course, when you're quilting, it reduces the size as well. So you'll see I have like super big margins on all the sides. And I love this blue color because look at that. The colors still, they tint, but they don't change. So that is why I went with that blue color. So
yeah, and I love trash pandas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking I jumped the gun on trimming mine down when I still need to quilt it, but I was like really excited. It'll
I wasn't
work
going
out.
to say anything. It's fine.
So Ian, you had mentioned that you like travel, and you were just talking about sending things overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Where would be your, like, if someone said, "Hey, Ian, here's a magic ticket to go anywhere in the world you want, only one place," where would it be?
Gosh, there are so many places that I want to travel. I have a whole bucket list of places.
You've traveled quite a bit already, haven't you?
I have. I definitely feel like I've traveled above the average because I've been to England, France, Italy, Greece, Venezuela. That's as far as I've been internationally. And I've been to, I don't even remember how many states. I'm trying to make all 50. That is the goal. Bucket list is all 50. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I probably, if somebody handed me a golden ticket and said you can go anywhere, probably Australia. Oh, what did I do? I didn't even do anything. I'm literally just sitting here, and it's.
What was that?
So I'm actually using my iPhone to be the camera, and so I can do gestures, and it will put on different effects. So it must have registered. Was it the peace sign that did the balloons? I don't remember. No, that's the confetti. Oh, there's the balloons. Okay. But yeah. So I have an iPhone, and it's doing all the special effects.
Be able to get my batting.
But yeah, it would probably be Australia.
Sorry, and she was just complaining about stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what did I miss? What happened? What is she pointing at? What's on my screen?
Yeah. I was gonna go get the batting while you were talking, but then I realized my camera's set up right in front of it, so I can't get in the cabinet.
Oops.
We'll just work on another one.
Y'all are so organized, guys.
I know, right? We're very professional.
Have you seen my channel? Have you seen me fall on the floor almost?
So where in Australia? Anywhere particular, or just
definitely Sydney? Would love to visit Sydney. The Opera House has always been kind of bucket list item. I want to do the climbing across of the Bay Bridge that you can do. I actually did when I was in England. I've been to England several times, but when I was in England, I did, it's called Over the O2, and it's a big arena that they actually built for the Millennium as a Millennium Show celebration. And you can actually, there's a walkway that you can climb up and over because it's a big dome. And so you can actually climb up and over it. And me and my friends did that, which was so much fun. So I think going over the Bay Bridge would be a lot of fun as well to kind of, I don't want to say like collect the sites, but like a way to Donnell, I see your comment. Almost fell. Yes, almost last time. But as a way to kind of like have a special memory of being in that location, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Australia is really cool. I had the privilege of going there for some military stuff, and we got to jump out of planes near Perth, and that was really fun.
That's awesome. Perth is on there because I have friends that live in Perth. Ayers Rock is on there because that's just awesome. I'm a geology nerd and love all kinds of geology, and that one is just super awesome. And I'm also with Amy. Another place that if I could, have a golden ticket would be Japan. Would love to go to Japan.
Our son wants to go.
Yeah,
so badly.
He really wants to go to Japan. I've been to Japan.
You've been almost.
I've been to everywhere.
I've been everywhere. Okay.
We should. Do you want to sing? Like, I'm all for that.
No, people pay me to stop singing.
Tokyo took my breath away, and I'm still not 100% sure if it was in a good way or a bad way. Like, I think it's legitimately the most densely populated city in the world. And it's got something like 30 million people in an area that cannot support that many people, but it is, and it does.
Yep.
It's just, there's some, like Tokyo specifically, they seem to be so far ahead technologically wise that like you see stuff there and you're like, it's like, I love Back to the Future, but it's like being Marty McFly and going to the future and wondering how the hell they have this stuff. It was, and because as an American, you think, well, I'm German, but as an American, you think that we have all the greatest technology, and then you go there and you're like, no, we're not even close to some of this stuff.
Yep.
I would say my favorite part of Japan. Oh, say that?
No, can we just say that America needs to catch up on having bidets in
Oh,
like
yes, I was having this conversation with my wife
Was.
a couple days ago. Yes, like that's
it's ridiculous that we don't. And I'm sorry. I have a bidet because I once I found the magic of bidets, I was like, why is this not everywhere?
You have one because you're bougie, Ian.
I'm fancy. I
He's cringing and
I am.
Notice I said fancy.
That's true, you did. But one of the cool things about Japan that at least for me, because I had never experienced this before, is there's several places you can go into Japan in the winter where you can go on a beach that is covered in snow and still be by the ocean. Which was like, for me, as someone who was raised on the West Coast, well, I was raised everywhere, but I spent several years in the West Coast. Like, you go to the Pacific Ocean, there's never snow, right? That just doesn't happen. So to see the juxtaposition of snowy hills, then sand with snow, then sand without snow, and then the water was just really cool.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite memory.
That's awesome. And no, Jackie, I have not been to the Great Wall of China. I would love to go. I'm in a way, so I'm already planning trips out to like 2027. Obviously, things are going to change between now and then, but there's actually going to be a total solar eclipse over Egypt in 2027, and totality lasts for 7 minutes, which is
Wow.
crazy long. Like, it's not typically that long. The one that we had here in Texas was where I was about 3 minutes and some change, and in the totality zone, the center of totality was like 4 minutes and change, which is about typical. You know, for those who don't know, I'm also an astronomy nerd. You're welcome. And that was actually my first job. My first job was running the planetarium console for a museum. So, but yeah, 7 minutes in Egypt, and I am very interested to do that. And then another one of my friends wants him and his family to go to Tokyo Disneyland, and I'm like, I will go with y'all. So several things on the horizon, hopefully.
That's really cool.
Um,
I have been here in Canada. That's it.
Yes, that is correct. I was going to say something life altering.
Sorry, I wrecked your train of thought.
No, so Mike asked if I'm peeling the letters. So no, Mike. Fun fact: because the pink does not transmit light as easily as the green, the laser doesn't have as much of a problem with it. So I can actually remove all of the paper and laser it without having to peel it. So I have to peel it in one big piece, but I don't have to do it individually like I do with the green, which is why these are like the greatest thing on the planet for me.
But Mike, you have
You still have
package
to do
coming,
it.
and you have a surprise in there.
Do you remember what your video was called? Because Paula can't find it. I was going to link to it.
No, it should be like the first video on there though.
Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah.
No, it's
no,
the
no.
one below.
Here?
It's one block quilt. I can't read what it says from here, but
Okay, no, it's fine. Share.
It's funny because who said that? Somebody said where to go. I lost the comment. Somebody said that they had a bidet. Oh, there it is. Zaza said we had a bidet growing up, and lots of people asked what the other toilet was for. Funny story.
No.
So I was in high school when I went to, it was People to People, Student Ambassador Project. And we went from England to France, Italy to Greece for 22 days. It was a whole long swath of travel. And we got to Italy. And obviously we're traveling for 22 days. So we had to do laundry. We had to clean our clothes. And basically, like, they didn't take us to a laundromat or anything. They just told us to wash our clothes in the in the hotel room and then hang them up to dry. And I went to go into the bathroom, and one of the guys, we're sharing rooms, of course, and one of the guys is washing his clothes in the bidet.
Oh no.
And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I know what it is. Leave me alone. And I was like, all right.
All right.
Okay. Cool. You do you, boo.
Gotta wash your socks, I guess.
I'm like, whatever. I mean, the guys were high schoolers, all high schoolers, all. I did not fit in that group at all.
I mean, I know that it's like clean water that goes into it, but you still know what happens. So like,
yeah, I was just like, all right, whatever. I'm not. He knows what it's for. Like walking away, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's
nothing you can do at that point.
Right.
It's done.
not to insult your friend so much, but I think it's Jeff Foxworthy who said that you can't fix stupid. So
he wasn't my friend at all. Like
No.
again, I went on this group. I only knew one other person on that group, and we had happened to go to middle school together. So I had no idea who these other people were, and actually, I don't even keep in touch with any of them. Like, it was a one and done kind of experience. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Like, I got to see the Colosseum. I got to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I got, Tower Bridge, all these things. But yeah, it was the company was not. They were high schoolers. Some of the girls in Italy freaked out because we went to an alabaster factory, and the toilet facilities were a squat facility, and the girl came out crying because she had to squat.
I probably would have done the same. No, I don't think I would have. I would have been horrified, but I don't think I would have.
Yeah, but like that back in high school, like nowadays,
Yeah.
I couldn't squat. Like that's just not going to happen. Back in high school, it would have been no problem.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, I'll stop there. Anyways, I just kind of looked at her and was like, "What? What? What are you? Okay, okay."
Where was the first place that you went out of the country?
Venezuela. That was it was actually for the total solar eclipse. I think it was 1998. I actually went with my dad down to Venezuela. There was a group that left DFW to go down there, and we watched the eclipse in Caracas, if I remember correctly.
Caracas is like one of the most dangerous cities that I've ever been to, and I would not go back.
Never going back.
Yeah.
Never, ever going back. I did it once. I will never do it again. It was the dirtiest. It was the scariest. It was not fun.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it is. So
It is. It's. I don't know now. When I was there for work, and I was there specifically because of the violence. But back then, it's so cool.
Oh,
I love that quilting.
Super easy quilting. You don't have to get crazy with it. Nothing too complicated. Just something to keep it all together. So that is a quilt top, or a quilted postcard top that's ready. All I need to do is put that Peltex on the back, and then put the paper on the back of that, and iron it, and then do the zigzag around the edge to do the satin stitch. That's it.
you use your I can't even think of what it's called now. You use your fancy machine to do that, don't you? Sometimes your
Serger.
yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Oh, thank you for saving me.
Yeah, you're good. Yes, sometimes I do use the serger. I like the satin stitch look that I do on the machine. I use a special foot. I use the Bernina. Which one is it? It's the 10D foot for my machine. And basically it's the stitch in the ditch foot. So I'll put it on the zigzag stitch and basically butt the side of the postcard up against that stitch in the ditch part, the little fin. And the zigzag stitch will overlap, so that way it wraps around to the backside and creates a really nice stitch. The
Very cool.
serger works, it works, but I prefer the look of the satin stitch more.
I was going to ask something, but now I don't remember.
I
I made
can't
you
help you
forget again.
there.
No, I did. It clearly wasn't important.
This was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, let me see. So let me ask this question. So now that you have that, how what kind of cardstock do you use to attach to it? And does
You
it
said the weight earlier, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, but is it always the same, or do you ever change it up, or?
It's mostly the same. This is another place that you can use your Cricut if you have one. You can actually have your Cricut write and draw for you, and then cut it out and put it on the back. You can use any color. I stick to white cardstock because that's what I have the most of, but it can be anything that you want it to be. And you'll just, you'll just put the Peltex on the backside of the quilt top, put the Peltex on, and then on the other side, you put that paper, and then you straight iron the paper, and all the glue from the Peltex heats up and bonds everything together.
And then what is it like if you're just sending it through like the USPS? Like how many stamps do you have to put on it in order to make sure it gets delivered?
This is the best part. It takes a 1 forever stamp.
Oh,
It takes 1 forever stamp. It cannot be a postcard stamp. Do not use a postcard stamp. Even though it's a postcard, don't use a postcard stamp for it. You can use that, and I have not had a single problem with it. And then if I'm sending it internationally, I use a 1 global stamp, and it makes it every time.
Nice.
I didn't even know that those existed. So
Yep.
learn something new every day.
There's also, this comes from my paper crafting days, there's also a non-machinable stamp that you can use. That also works well. I don't use it because it doesn't need it, but you can also use a non-machinable stamp. The post office makes those stamps specifically for items that cannot go through the machines. And so you can pop that stamp on there, and in theory, it will not go through the machines.
I had a case several years ago that involved literally delving into how mail is processed at U.S. postal facilities, including machine, non-machine, because it was a very large fraud case, and it involved a machine stamp that was fraudulently made.
Oh.
So I had to go down. I went down the rabbit hole of having to do this, and because I had worked in the government before. Most people don't know this, but the United States Postal Service has they have an own FBI for them. It's called the USPIS, the Postal Inspection Service. So I had some people I could reach out to get answers, which helped win the case in a sense. But it was just one of those things where it's like, I didn't know that there was that much into it. There's actually, I think in Missouri, there's like an entire museum of machine stamps, which we actually ended up having to use an expert from because we were showing them the stamp. It's like, hey, is this actually a real stamp? And it was an amalgamation of multiple stamps that a USPS employee put together. It was crazy, but wow. It was very cool to learn about all that.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I had to do some research on the mail first of all, when I was making videos for card making, I needed to know, what was the maximum weight limit? What was the maximum size limit? All those things. I had to look those up. I did a whole video on like what to do, what not to do. But I also, it's so silly. I will sit here sometimes if I can't find anything fun on YouTube that I'm interested in, I will literally go, I can't believe I'm admitting this out loud. I will go and watch videos on how the postal service machines work or how the luggage systems work at airports. I will literally go watch videos on people putting the cameras into or on their luggage and send it through the systems for the different airport. I can't believe I said that out loud, but you're welcome, everyone.
You probably like that show that I don't
how
know
it's
if
made?
Yeah, were you thinking the same thing? That
Yes.
I love how it's made.
I have YouTube TV and they don't provide that channel. But when I was living at home with mom, we would put that on as background noise. I would have that on and just, be working or doing a project or something. And that was background noise. I miss having how it's made because I would watch that, I kid you not, almost every single day.
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah. There's something very soothing about his voice too.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
He's got such a good voice, and the way he presents it.
Yep.
So Zaza wants to know what the number is again for the spray glue you were talking about.
So it's not spray glue. It is the Peltex 72F, and it's the double-sided.
Okay. And then Vicky wants to know which Cricut you have.
I actually had several of them. Currently, I have the Cricut Maker. I don't have the Cricut Maker 3. I just have the Cricut Maker. But that is one of the things that I'm actually downsizing. I'm actually going to be giving that to my nieces and nephews. And then I'm going to worry about getting one in the future, or I'll just use Becca's. Be like, Becca, I'm coming over.
Yeah, I have to use your machine.
Yep, got to use your machine. I'll be there in a bit.
Yeah, I read the time that we move because every time you move, you somehow accumulate more stuff, which I don't understand how it's possible. Because every time you move, you're like, we have way too much, and then somehow you get more. But I have no doubt, and this is bad on us, but there's probably, I can't tell you how many containers that we have in storage in our house that have not been opened since we lived here. It's like, so we obviously need to get rid of it because we don't even know what's in there, and whatever it is, we don't care about.
No, but as soon as I open it, I'm going to be like, we can't get rid of this.
Yeah, I am not that person. I won state championships. I won a national championship. I played college baseball. I was drafted into the major leagues. I don't have any of that shit. I had stacks of newspapers written about me as an athlete. I don't have any of that. I don't have a single trophy. I used to literally have a trophy room.
A lot of that stuff to us that we didn't want any of it.
Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff. Like, I don't even have my high school Letterman jacket, which had like 800 patches. I don't have any of that. I just don't care.
Yeah. I never got one.
Yeah,
So my wife, on the other hand, she has stuff from high school that we haven't even looked at since we've been married, and we still have it. It's like, what are we doing?
But one day I may need it.
Yep. And I have some of my stuff still at mom's house. I don't know.
If you can store it at someone else's house and you're not taking up your own space, I'm all for it.
I have report cards from when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah.
I'm also talking about the Letterman jacket. I'm slightly mad that I never got one, although I would obviously not be wearing it these days. But I'm a little mad because I was in yearbook for 4 years. I should have gotten one, just saying.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't even tell you if I have actual. So I've graduated from multiple degree programs. I don't know that I have an actual degree from any institution from which I've graduated. Just because I don't hang stuff up like that. Like, I know I graduated from law school. I don't know that I have a law degree anywhere.
Well,
gotcha.
You have it.
I do.
Well, somewhere.
No, man. Yes, I have graduated, but I don't have a paper degree anywhere. Like, I don't have any of this stuff.
Yeah, my high school diploma's at home.
Yeah,
mom has that.
Yeah. So that's just. But I look forward to that when we get to move and we can downsize. Although, like, the plan is actually to buy a bigger place so that we have an actual large workshop and then an actual studio and then the house.
And
so
a guest room.
More space, but less stuff.
And a guest room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely going to be that because we're going to. I have some friends, Ian, that may want to come and visit and help us with videos and such. So,
and the label.
Yes. I've got a lot of stuff that I can show you how to do in the shop when you come and visit.
I really miss having access to the laser. Like that was everybody like went crazy over the 3D printers that we had because we had several 3D printers and they were always like, oh, 3D printing, 3D printing. I always loved the laser. The laser was my jam.
So
I knew
3D
how to use it. I don't know how to use it.
3D printers are cool for like really small stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if I need like a precision part, like I will machine it myself on a CNC because I have 2 CNCs. 3D printers, like the stuff that I do at least, requires like stainless steel or wood or something like that, and a 3D printer is not going to help.
Yep.
I think they're really cool. They haven't gotten to the point at which they make sense to me, unless you're buying like $100,000 one that can do crazy stuff. Like I don't, I'm not going to spend that kind of money. But
yeah,
I prefer CNCs and lasers because I feel like they can. Plus, every 3D printer I've seen, the tolerances are much larger than they are on a laser. Like my laser's down to like the 100,000th of an inch, and my CNC is the same way.
Yep.
So I'm not worried about that sort of stuff.
Although I was very happy with the 3D printer when I worked at the library. I was very happy with our 3D printers that we used there. Partly because they were a company in Midlothian, so like not far away. If we needed any help at all, like they could literally drive the hour and they'd be there. I was very impressed with the print quality, but again, the tolerances were not. We did have a couple people come in and print parts for different things, but I never. The tolerances are still a little, it's easier on a laser.
Yeah. Zaza wants to know, do employers never ask for academic certificates? They do, but at least in my experience, I just tell them where I went to law school and they just call the law school and verify it. Like I don't actually have to do anything. And for attorneys, it may be slightly different. I know Dr. Kathy said yes, they do for her, but you can only be admitted to the bar with the exception of California and Mississippi, I believe. You have to have graduated law school in order to be a member of the bar. So you can look up online who's in the bar in whatever state you're in. And so if you're part of the bar, they know that you had to have graduated law school, unless you're in California or Mississippi. But even then, if you're getting hired, they just care that you're a member of the bar. They don't actually care that you graduated law school. So,
yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am hungry because I forgot to eat dinner. And my hands are tired of making these.
So Ian, thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, you should let everyone know what you have coming up on your channel. I know you go live on, and I'm always going to mix it up, Saturday? Is it Saturday
Sunday.
at 1 or Sunday?
Sunday. Be there.
To get Sean's list. I watched you one time when you go on Saturday and it's stuck in my head forever.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to confuse you even more because I'm going live Friday this week. Since Becca is going to be at her retreat, I'm going to take over her time slot. So I'll be live this Friday.
Well, then that's why I asked. Because I hear.
Yep, changing it up today, changing it up this week. So Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'll be going live. We're going to be finishing out the colored portions of the Gravity quilt. I have one more month of the colored parts of it. So we'll be doing that. And then that I'm moving it because on Sunday, I'm going to go visit Leo again. And I'm going to hopefully finish the Lady Gaga portrait quilt that I started working on with him. So super excited to finish. Can't wait to finish that one. I'm so excited. I keep texting him like, I can't wait to finish this. So yeah, I'll be doing that. But normally I'm live on Sundays, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Perfect. So if you aren't already subscribed to Ian, head over to his channel and subscribe and watch him Friday this week. But don't get attached to that day and time.
Changing it up. Got to change it up again. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh,
Thank
absolutely.
You for joining us. And if you haven't already, go check out Ian's awesome ruler that he designed that is available in our shop. and have fun making some postcards. Send some in the mail. Bring some people some joy. Give them something rather than a bill. They will love it.
Yes.
Or
you
if
do a much better
attach
job.
a bill along with it, definitely.
And don't forget about those the trim locks being in blue, the special limited.
Oh, yep. Yep,
only.
they're on the website. So all you have to do is buy Ian's thing in the same transaction, and you get 10% off. So,
Don't buy my thing. Buy my postcard ruler, not my thing.
Yes, that's. I didn't know it was for sale. So
Everything's for sale for the right price.
all right. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.